Really?
Yes.
Buy electricity that is more expensive than when it's produced by other methods?
They wouldn't have a job right now if they weren't producing solar panels.
Okay, so more expensive energy is actually better for the economy, is what you're telling me? It costs double, okay, per kilowatt hour to produce it using solar panels than it does with other stuff.
So when we stay just on gas, and gas is $4 a gallon, what's your choice?
That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about electricity.
You're talking about, you're talking about energy being cheap,
electricity.
right? You want energy to be cheap.
Is more expensive energy good for the economy?
The economy being stuck on fossil fuels is killing us financially and environmentally.
Okay, but again, if it's less expensive than the alternative, how is it killing us financially?
What's the alternative? What's the
Well,
alternative?
you're the one telling me. You're saying
No,
the
you said the
alternative.
alternative. What is the alternative to you?
No, I'm saying if we stay on fossil fuels where we're at, why can't we just use whatever is the least expensive form of electricity?
Because we're running out of that.
For energy generation.
We're running out of that.
Okay. So what does that have to do with global warming?
Well, that, being fossil fuels, is leading to global warming.
But carbon dioxide changes lag temperature changes, not before.
Do you know about methane?
Yes, I do.
Okay. The more we're burning coal and putting more emissions into the atmosphere, we're pushing the balance out of balance.
Yeah, we're all
and our
heading back.
reliance on coal and fossil fuels has killed the middle class. That's the reason why we lost our manufacturing jobs. And if we're going to get a return of manufacturing jobs, it's going to be the green stuff.
I fail to see the connection. How exactly is reliance on fossil fuels connected to the loss of manufacturing?
Where did the jobs go?
That doesn't make any sense.
Where did the jobs go?
What, overseas?
Overseas. How did they go overseas?
Thank you.
Our dependence on fossil fuels.
All right, again, I fail to see the connection.
Our dependence on fossil fuels.
Cheap electricity,
Let bosses,
energy.
let the people who make our cars say, let's go do it where it's the cheapest. And when shipping stuff is really cheap.
All right, so you're saying
So
what you're telling me is we should do it more expensively, less efficiently.
No, I'm saying because it was cheaper, they were able to push the jobs overseas.
But who benefits from that cheaper stuff?
The bosses, the people who
don't?
manufacture. We have for 10 years.
I kind of like it when the things that I buy are less expensive.
So you want them to all be made in China? You don't want them to support American-made goods?
No, I think American manufacturers are very good.
What if it was more expensive to buy an American-made product?
Depends on the particular product.
So do you want the cheapest product made in China, or do you support American made?
I want a quality product at the best price I can possibly get.
And if that quality product is overseas,
online, and that's okay.
Then that's okay by you.
I believe in free trade.
And the free trade based on fossil fuel
I think that we all benefit
how
from
the
free
jobs
trade.
were pushed overseas.
We are all
I'm
better.
not
The
against
people in
free trade.
China are better off. No, well, you're saying that I should buy American at the exclusive of everything else. That doesn't make any sense.
I didn't say exclusive of everything else.
Okay, but you're saying I should pay more to buy American stuff?
No, didn't say that either.
Okay, then what are you saying?
I'm saying our reliance on fossil fuels is killing our economy and our environment.
That doesn't even the whole question. The disconnect he's talking about is fossil fuels actually keep it more efficient for businesses to produce anything. So regardless
it's the cheapest energy source.
Correct. So how would that be?
Right now, not as we run out. It becomes more expensive, as we experienced when we were paying $4 a gallon.
Correct, but I think what we're saying is that if it's actually cheaper to produce things in the United States, how would that be hurting manufacturing in the United States?
It's not cheaper to produce things in the United States. It's cheaper to produce it overseas.
Right, but most of that doesn't have to do with the ability to use fossil fuels. It actually has to do with taxation, tariffs, regulation.
And we ship it over there on a big boat,
right, but
a lot of oil.
you got to remember that's government coming into the businesses and telling them that there are all these hoops and money that you'll have to jump through, which have nothing to do with the raw cost of producing that item. It's actually after. I mean, taxation on profits, taxation within the system. Corporate taxations are really a much bigger cost than just simply energy. So to make the leap in logic that you're saying is that efficiency within the system is actually detrimental to the system itself.
That's not what I'm saying.
Well, it's precisely what you said. You said that fossil fuels were killing the middle class.
No, that's
absolutely you did. That's fundamentally incorrect.
How are they supporting the middle class?
Because it keeps the cost of production lower, therefore allowing jobs.
Okay, so when we were paying $4 a gallon,
you're splitting two arguments here. We're talking about the manufacturing of a product versus the disbursement of an energy source, which comes in, petroleum. I mean, petroleum is being used. It is also by far the most efficient way in which we power anything. It's one of the most efficient fuels available.
It's a cheap source of energy.
We will
got a lot of people have that.
We would love to see energy research continue. We would love to see none of those are bad.
I think so, yeah.
I mean, what we're saying is that it needs to be done, not forcibly by the government, that the free market really will want those things as the research continues and as these things get better. We'll see a demand for that come in. and then we'll all demand it as well.
Well,
I mean,
the demands
hydrogen
are
cars,
there.
love it.
The demands are there. That's why I'm talking about.
But the Toyota Prius hybrid, all these, they lose money from these companies.
Yeah, I know that they don't make a profit, but I'll tell you one thing.
Well, but you said the demand's there,
They
but
make
it's
a
not. The
Ford
market has
small
it.
diesel car that you can't buy in this country. It's illegal. And they make a Toyota Yaris that's a diesel car, $15,000.
Yeah, but
It's 62 miles to the gallon, and you can't buy it in this country.
But even when you
You
can't
have
buy,
American
when you can't buy
manufacturers
cars,
making cars in Europe that we can't drive here.
there's a ton of things that we
Why
can't
do
do
you
in the
think-
United States for
why do you
all
think
of the good
we
and
get
bad
small
reasons.
diesel efficient?
Perfectly fine with
We
that.
have no-
Well,
we have no
we
argument
all
on that
agree on
stuff.
that, but I'm
Yeah.
saying let's think about why we can't get a car that's 62 miles per gallon using diesel.
Because the auto manufacturers are probably in bed with, the fuel.
Probably right now
The
it's too
fuel was
expensive.
in bed
Yeah, we're
with
not-
GM,
Right,
right?
exactly,
GM made the
yeah,
electric
exactly.
car and then they
Right,
killed it. They were like,
exactly.
oh my God, that would be too much independence.
Absolutely.
And then when we had our crash a year and a half ago, we were all stuck at $4
Exactly.
a gallon.
Yeah,
right?
In that specific example, we'd say, why would government want to regulate anything to come in? We would deregulate it. We would say, absolutely, bring the car
Less
in.
regulation leads to child labor, leads to no minimum wage.
That's not true any longer.
Any longer?
Absolutely.
I don't know if I
That
would.
was the turn of the century when we saw that happen. So you're close to 100 years behind an argument at this point.
170 years ago,
But
we ended child labor.
on that particular
If
issue,
you're
it's a
putting the
non-issue.
market running everything,
The thing
the
is,
age of work is going to be
very
there
naturally.
would be no minimum wage. When they put in minimum wage, and when
We're
they
not
put in
saying
Medicare, there
we're
was
not
that
saying
socialism.
complete 100% deregulation to the point of animal pay. I don't think it's even proposed. What we're saying
Some
is
of these folks here
there
would approve no regulation.
There is-
I'm
I
not
don't
saying
think
you
that's the
folks.
case.
A lot of people who think that
Mike,
this is a
I can't
socialism
speak for anybody else.
takeover.
Can't speak for anybody.
I've talked to people who are against the minimum
And I
wage.
just want to let you guys know you all are awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for coming out and doing that. Made me happy.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank
thank
you. Thank you for
you.
your
Thank you
service.
guys.
You know.
If I wouldn't work
The
So
answer
I'm
for us